This film study is sponsored by Mississippi Land Bank. Visit them online, mslandbank.com. Hey, what's up? I'm Matt Wyatt. Thanks for stopping by. Let's talk linebackers. Mississippi State's Aaron Brulé.
I've seen high energy from everybody on the team. Coach Leach has given us great advice on what to do this offseason in order to be even better for next season. And just all the guys being on one tune and getting going.
Now, in terms of eligibility, Aaron is a redshirt junior on the website at hailstate.com. But technically, he's only a sophomore because last season did not count against anyone's eligibility, right? Does that make sense? So you get one thing on the website, but in reality, he's just a sophomore because last year didn't count. Trust me on that. What we do know is Aaron Brulé was an excellent pass rusher and a great tackler on Mississippi State's defense in 2020, and it was really just his second year on the field. He played in 4 games as a true freshman in 2018, so he redshirted. Then in 2019, he played in 13 games. That was his first year. And then, of course, last year, he started all 11 games for Mississippi State on defense. And here's what we're going to do. Look at some plays from last year and show you how they used him. Zach Arnett used Aaron Brulé on the line of scrimmage a lot. Now, certainly, you play linebacker, you drop in pass coverage some, and he did that throughout the year, but he was really effective, most effective, when he was on the line of scrimmage. In the line of scrimmage, pass rush, outside rush, blitzing over the center, beat him into the backfield, and we're gonna see that on these highlights. And talk a little bit about what makes him good and maybe what his potential is long-term. Here's a play against Auburn. He is Aaron Brulé lined up on the edge of the line of scrimmage. He was really good in this role last year for State, coming off the edge, throw the offensive lineman, shed the block, get to the running back, and that's the best running back in the SEC, pretty much hands down right there in Tank Bixby. And he had a big game against State, especially late. But you watch Brulé coming off the edge right here. He does a really nice job extending his arms and just getting leverage, taking on the block with his eyes up to try to see the ball carrier. Watch him come off, take him on right there, get those arms extended. You see that upper body, that offensive lineman kind of go up and back. That's Brulé, those arms, getting them into his chest, and now you got a little bit of leverage, okay? And you kind of see what he's doing. You push him up, you've got the leverage, taking on the block, not avoiding it, and his eyes go inside looking for the ball carrier right here. So he's able to see that this thing's about to bounce outside, and now he's going to react to it and make the play. And what he does, he throws the block. Now, lineman's trying to kind of get back to his inside shoulder right there, but he uses that momentum and just throws him right here. That's a strong guy for, 6'1", 220-pound linebacker that's throwing a 300-pound lineman back inside, getting him off of you, shedding the block, and now you're to the ball carrier. You got to finish it off, wrap it up, and he's able to do that. Now, he was in on a lot of pass rush. According to Pro Football Focus, he led the country last year in pass rush snaps for a linebacker with 192 of those. He also led the country with 39 pressures generated as a linebacker. That also according to Pro Football Focus. And they also said he led all linebackers in quarterback hurries with 27 of those last year. What those numbers tell you is that they absolutely plugged him in and used him in pass rush whenever they could because he's good at it. Okay, here he is lined up in the middle of the defensive formation. And they actually did this a lot, last year. So 3-man front, 3 with their hands down, but walk the 4th up. So you kind of get a 4-man defensive look and put him in the middle. He played on the edge mostly, but sometimes he'd be in the middle right there, and they're going to bring him right over the center right here. You see him creep down, and here he comes. He's on the right shoulder of the center and just beats him right away. I'll let you kind of watch it through, and then we'll take a closer look. Beats the center, free to the quarterback, right in his lap. Now chase him, and force a throwaway incomplete right there. Urgency. That's one thing I would say is probably his best attribute is he kind of understands how to play down in here in the line of scrimmage with a sense of urgency to beat blocks, get to the ball carrier, disrupt an offense. This is what you have to do, as a linebacker. And right here, because of the formation, he's got, an end taking on a tackle. He's got a tackle taking on a guard. So it's he in the center. It's, one-on-one. He's not really setting him up inside or anything like that. He's just using his speed and beating him into that gap. Goes right past him. And Bo Nix did like he had to do a lot last year, and that's run out of there. Middle of the field. And similar to what we saw in that Auburn film is he's going to come over the center, and you've got two to his left, so they're matched up guard and tackle. What I mean by that is defensive tackle is going to be over guard, end is over tackle, and so it's 2-on-2 out there. And what it does is it singles him up in a pass rush with that Georgia center right here, who's going right over that center's right shoulder, his field side shoulder. Watch him pressure the gap, get in there. He's got leverage. He's getting to the outside now. It's not a bad job by the center at all right here if he can lock him up. But it's a fight through sack right here. Fights through it. Now you're on his outside arm. Now you're making contact. Got to fight through the mess. Don't get knocked off your feet. Stays up. And now go chase him down. And because of teammate pressure on the other side, you get him run right back into you. Now, this is just good overall pressure on the line of scrimmage, really, by all of them. Watch Brulé right here, a little bit of a better look. It looks like they've got a twist called. Okay, so what's happening is he's attacking that, right shoulder of the center, while the defensive tackle, who is matched up on the guard, is a step and slight delay, and he's coming around him to try to get inside pressure. So that, as you look at it this way, that looks like that's what the design is. So he goes in. Here comes a tackle twisting around. And meanwhile, Brulé's fighting through it. They've got him right here for the time being. If he stops, if he gets knocked down, whatever, now he's making contact with another, but he's going to get through here. And that's a relentless, just sort of pursuit, get to the ball attitude that he showed a lot. And it's a reason why statistically he's as good as anybody at pressuring the pocket and getting to the quarterback. Doesn't get knocked down right here. Stay with it, stay with it. The twist is now coming through there. He got held, but he's coming through there, stops it on this side. A quarterback doesn't have anywhere to go, and so Brulé is going to come in here and clean that up. So it's a really good job, and the kind of energy you have to get sacks.
So he's a plus athlete. He runs really well. Listed at 6'1", 230 going into the 2021 season.
On the edge of the line of scrimmage, right here at the bottom to the left of the offense. And they're going to screen to this side. Now, he's not actually rushing right here. He's dropping. And then he's going to run the screen down, get inside the block, and make a play. He's got some help. But it's just to show you, again, he sort of has a knack for taking on contact and still staying on his path and getting where he needs to go. So watch him drop right here, lining up in man, snap the ball. He's dropping, taking a look, and probably pre-snap reading screen. And so, a lot of guys, you're free to this ball carrier right here. You go flying down in there and kind of forget that you got to take on some contact as well. The other thing, too, the safety on this side, Preston did a really nice job of coming in, forcing the issue where the ball carrier after the screen had to go inside where Brulé is coming from right here. Watch it develop. Flies down in there. Here comes that offensive guard. He's going to hit him in the back. He's still in there. He's beating the block to the ball carrier. And that's why I talk about urgency. If he's slow or if he's tiptoeing, he's going to get caught right here. And it's easier for that guard to get out here and get in front of him and get his head in front. But he's just playing downhill a little faster than the offense is. And that would be one way to describe, I think, how Aaron Brulé plays in this defense. He's lined up outside linebacker in a 3-3. Lined up over a slot tight end who's got leverage to block him, but he won't let himself get blocked, and he goes and makes a play. This is one where, as a defender, you've got to take on blocks. You got to be in the right position. You can't avoid blocks all the time. But when they get there, you got to beat them somehow. You don't necessarily sidestep it, but you get where you're going and don't get blocked. And this is one where, I'm sure on the Auburn side, when they watch this film, they told this tight end right here, hey, look, there's no excuse for you not to get outside of him and block him and seal him off where he can't get out here and run this thing down to the outside. I'm sure that's what they told this tight end. But when you're dealing with a guy who runs like Brulé does and is as physical as he is, he's just a little quicker, a little, I don't know what you'd call. He's just got a tenacity to get to the football where he beats a lot of blocks in a lot of these games, these films you see. And this is another thing, Tank Bixby broke more tackles than anybody in the SEC last year, and he broke some in this game. But there were a lot of times, a lot of examples when Brulé's getting there and he's not missing this tackle. That was a really nice play as he
ran it down to the outside right there.
And you could see in the highlights, big enough, strong enough to take on people in line of scrimmage, excellent tackler. But what I see is a guy who sort of has a knack for that urgency you have to have.
They've got him lined up in the middle of the field right here in the middle of the defense. Georgia is 2x2 receivers. They're running slants on a 2nd and 9. They're going to run it right to where he is, and State's in a cover 3 zone. So it's going to put him in a drop. Watch him read the eyes of the quarterback and go to the football. Drop, find the slant, and it's almost a pick. It's a really nice job on his part. This is a good look because, again, not directly over the ball, but he's lined up in the middle of the field. So in that zone coverage there, they're sort of splitting the field, if you want to call it that, because they put the safety in the middle and they've got him in the middle of the field as well. So watch him, on the snap, he knows he's dropping. And the first thing that happens is you got quick slants to one side. He goes ahead, the quarterback does, and picks a side. He's looking this way, and I think it helps Brulé to know where the drop is and which lane to get in. So he's looking at the eyes of the QB, and immediately he turns to find the receiver. I like this. He's looking, see, do I have slant? Do I have something coming at me? Quarterback's looking right now. I'm going to see what he sees. Turn his head and find the defender. Find the receiver. And he does. Jump it. Now get your eyes on the football. So he sees his drop, sees the route coming his way, which is off the screen. Now turn and find the quarterback and find the football. It's just a really sound, fundamental, smart play, and it almost results in an interception.
To beat blocks, especially when you're timing the snap, which he's good at, but an urgency to get around that block and beat that block, to keep yourself free so you can go pressure. He just kind of has that, you can tell, a hunger to get to the opposing quarterback. And obviously is going to be a big part of their defense this next season.
You got a 3-man front in front of him. There's not a 4th. He is the 4th rusher, and he's headed right over the nose of the left guard of Georgia. And watch him fly in there. You kind of lose him, but he's the one that squeezes through, takes on the block, makes initial contact, and they get a tackle for loss. Now you can kind of see it better here from kind of a film angle. They're coming to him. You got center and left guard for Georgia. And here comes Brulé. He's coming right in that gap, headed right there to the backfield over the guard's nose. And watch how he plays this. It's a little bit of a setup. It's almost like, in a split second, that guard gave you a little step inside thinking he's coming in there. But he never really showed it much. He's right here the whole way. The guard's kind of guessing, and he's just running to green grass to get into the backfield. Gets on his outside shoulder. It's a poor job by the guard. Brulé's getting his face mask hooked right here, and then you see the center is actually coming over here going to try to help him. Okay, so he's about to try to fight through 2 guys, and that's that urgency I was talking about, just playing a little faster into the opponent's side of the line of scrimmage than they are playing. Gets back there. He's beating the guard completely. Whether or not he's being held, I guess, doesn't really matter. Now he's taking on the center, and again, this is a 6'1", 220-pound guy. Beats one lineman. Now he's taking on some contact from the other and is going to initiate with the ball carrier all at the same time. He's the first to get there, hit the ball carrier, hang on, doesn't get him to the ground himself, but teammates get there and you get a TFL. Here's an example against Texas A&M, how to sift through there, get to the ball carrier, chase it down, don't get blocked. Nice job. Make the tackle when you get there too. That's the thing. Wrap up. Don't let this one get broken. Now, I will say in this A&M game, A&M's offensive line, they were good. Their tight ends were good. This tight end was good. And in this game, this was not really one of Aaron Brulé's best games. He got blocked a bunch in this game, and a lot of it's just because these guys are really good, really well coached, and they showed that a lot throughout the year. This is an example. He doesn't get blocked. He steps in, and you can see a guy miss him. And he's not avoiding the block right here of the right guard who's trying to come in there and pin him. It's just he gets upfield. The guard gets upfield just a little too much, kind of jumped upfield a little too much. And there's that aggressiveness we're talking about. I just think when you play downhill and you play fast and aggressive, generally good things are going to happen to you. So he's not sitting back right here waiting to take a blocker to see where the ball goes. He's kind of coming downhill. And because of that, he's inside of that guard who stepped up to seal him off, and now just go chase him down. And when you get there, make sure you wrap up.
So that's Aaron Brulé. His coach Mike Leach at Media Days this week paid him the ultimate compliment.
And, the more Austin Williams and Aaron Brulés you have, the better you're going to be.
So for a guy who is a redshirt junior, meaning, he's got at the very least 2 more years left in college if he wants those, but as much as 3 more years in college if he were to choose to play that out, because last year didn't count against anyone's eligibility. So in actuality, he's a sophomore, but in the listing, he's a redshirt junior. He's got a lot of football left in front of him, and he's already a leader on the football team.
You always want to supersede your expectations that you had the year before. And just having high energy guys like we do have, and being on one tune and getting ready for fall camp and things of that sort, I'm definitely ready to get after it.
Thanks to Mississippi Land Bank for making these videos possible. Check them out, mslandbank.com. And thanks to Farm Bureau Insurance in Mississippi. Go to favrates.com and check out your local agent. And I'll see you on the next one.